So let's get into our first story of the night, which is Civil War 2.0. Civil War 2.0. Now, Miss Mendez, I will explain the teams and all that other kind of stuff when we get to Voice of Reason. I love the fact that you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. I think that's kind of the point that we we all wish we could be in. So let's talk about this. The fallout from the Epstein list. And this headline says it all. This is Trump says Civil War 2.0. Any months. In June, it was about Iran. That was the first crack in the fissure. And people like myself who did not like the Israeli government, and this is not me being like, the Jews, but the Israeli government forcing American foreign policy, which they did. They launched the attack, and then they did it knowing that they needed to have the U.S. come in and do all these other kinds of things. And it just was a bad situation that hasn't resolved itself. Now, the Iran situation apparently looks like it's fine because as of right now, it is resolved. Nothing has happened. Everybody's okay, right? We bombed Iran. Iran shot 6 missiles and everything kind of just went along as it's going along. Doesn't mean that the book is closed. Now, MAGA is acting like it is. I don't think it is. You could say that's just because I guess I'm a panicking, but I'm really just worried about being dragged into one of these things. And a lot of us just didn't like the fact that this was an escalation of conflict. Now, a lot of people will come back at me and say, Rich, we're just dropping bombs on people. It's not a big deal. Which is the most American thing to say. We're just dropping bombs on a bunch of brown people in the Middle East, Rick. This isn't a war. What are you talking about? Okay, I got you. Perfect. But now we're at the Epstein list. And the fallout from an unsigned, undated document that was dropped on a Sunday, which Cal Seraphin was on Timcast earlier today talking about this. We talked about this last week. We said, hey, it looks like they dropped this Epstein memo while the country was worried about the flooding in Texas to see if it would fly under the radar and we could kind of just put this thing to bed. It didn't fly under the radar. It was picked up by people who were visibly angry about this. And now it's been over a week and Trump did this Trump went from zinger Trump to boomer Trump this weekend. What do I mean? I'm not going to show you, but he did like a 4-page Truth Social post about why we just need to get over it and move on from the Epstein list, which somebody needed to tell him that is the wrong move to make. It is the wrong move to make. So it's President Donald Trump versus MAGA. And remember, President Trump said, I am MAGA. I am America first. And then you have people backing up. Yep, he's America first. It's his Laura Loomer. He created it. He can do what he wants. When you give carte blanche to that, if that's the word, I'm just messing up words tonight. So beat me up in the comment section. If you're like, Rick, you're an idiot, because I am. But when you give Trump a blank check like that and you say, well, I mean, he did create it. He did create MAGA, so he can define it however he pleases. Yeah, that's not going to work. In the days since the Trump administration released a memo about Jeffrey Epstein directly at odds with conspiracy theorists, the whole thing with the conspiracy theorists is Trump and his team acknowledged these things. We played the video last week. Trump and his team ran on the list. Kash Patel went on any podcast that would have him talking about how there's a black book with lists in it. It's also the same guy who said we shut down the FBI day one, right? Dan Bongino didn't specifically say there was a list, but he would always say, guys, I heard things. I've heard things. I know things. Trump multiple times, acknowledged Epstein Island, Epstein list, Epstein this, Epstein that. So when CNN says conspiracy theories pushed by the president and some of his top lieutenants, Trump's movement and most ardent supporters are in revolt. Let me just cut to this. It's a couple minutes long, but I think it's absolutely important. Take a listen.
We go to Travis in South Dakota. Hello, Travis.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Jason. I tell you what, guys, I feel really betrayed, and I feel really, really angry. We have a president who tells us to move on from Epstein because it doesn't matter. Are you guys still talking about this? Seriously? And yet he still talks about the 2020 election fraud. He talks about the Hunter Biden laptop. He talks about all this stuff from 5-6 years ago, and he tells us to move on from the Epstein trial or the Epstein case. People like me will not stop talking about this. I feel so betrayed and so angry. This is not what I voted for. If we do not stand up for the children of this country, we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing. And I tell you what, I've also lost a lot of respect for a lot of people that are prominent figures in this country because they are saying, you know what, this doesn't matter. Like Carrie Lake came out on Saturday. She's like, you know what really matters is election fraud and post-election fraud. It's like, you know what, the children of this country really, really matter. How can we just sweep them under the rug and not care? Move on, America. Move on.
Travis, thank you for calling. Let me ask you, is there anything that could be said that would make you go, okay, that's as good as it's going to get for here?
I want transparency and I want justice. All them children, all those families, everything they went through, I don't want to know their names. I pray that God would be with them and give them some sort of peace if they could ever get it. I want transparency and I want justice.
Is there anything that anyone could produce to show you and have you go, okay, Epstein is dead, Gladwell is in prison, and that's the only justice you're going to be able to get?
I want evidence. Quit telling us that, oh, well, he killed himself and we saw everything. We have the information. By the way, it doesn't exist. Show us the information. Make me believe. Help me believe that he killed himself. Help me believe that maybe you don't have any evidence against people. Then show us that stuff. I do not trust the government at all. And yet they expect me to take their word for it. I'm sorry, you lost your credibility a long time ago, government. You need to start gaining the trust of these American people back. And I really hope and pray that they can at least provide some sort of evidence.
How do you prove the negative, Travis? See, that's where I'm at. I think I'm right where you are. I'm beyond. I don't have a horse in this race. What I have is common sense. And what I have is maybe a bunch of people hyping this up for a very long time, but then I need somebody to say, hey, these people were hyping this for this reason, and here, let me show you how that was done. I want to believe. I want to believe in the good. So help me, but I don't know how you prove a negative. How do you prove there is no evidence?
I absolutely agree. If all these people like me are all upset about this Epstein client list and it's all been for naught all these years, then help me believe that, you know what, you've been wrong this entire time. And actually, there's some really good things out there. And if it's the opposite, show us that evidence too. Right now, all we have to go on is the word and trust of the United States government. And they don't tell us anything. So this is what we found, and the documents we're going to give you are going to be, mostly redacted. But the information's there. We just can't show it to you. You got to help us out a little bit. There's a lot of good in this country, but you got to help us out a little bit.
Travis, I don't think anyone could have said it better than that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Can you hear? He is one of thousands. He is one of thousands of thousands of thousands of people that put their trust in Trump. They wanted to believe in Trump. GPAT, that's a little ridiculous. That's a little ridiculous, I'm going to have to say. There are so many people that believed in Trump being a disruptor. And it looks like he's just the same. And they're still trying to run this playbook, guys. Yeah, that was a total error on my part. That was user error. No, we're good. We're back. That was an absolute I'm trying to think, an airball, an absolute mistake on the part of the Trump administration to think that they could get away with it. And they still think they can get away with it. They still do. They're running Charlie Kirk out today.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine.
Not the right answer. That is not the right answer, guys. Everybody wants this. Not everybody, but enough people who have put their trust in Trump and the administration for 10 years since he came down the escalator. This is the ultimate betrayal. It's the ultimate betrayal. And it really centers on this chick right here. It's all about Pam Bondi, right? There was the argument between Bongino and Bondi, and there was talks about, oh, well, she's going to leave over the weekend, and he's going to leave, and all this other kind of stuff. Trump has doubled down, okay? He sent this post over the weekend. What's going on with my boys, and in some case, gals? They're going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We are one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. And I did not think this was going to be this way. I thought Trump was going to be smart enough, but I guess not. I thought Trump was going to be smart enough to be like, Pam, you got to go. Pam, you're killing me. You're sinking the entire agenda. But nope, he's going to double down. He is going to let the ship sink with Pam Bondi. That is incredible. That, I guess Trump does have a type. I guess Trump does have a type because he is willing to sink the ship for her. And it's amazing to think that. It is amazing to see President Trump in a spot where he is willing to destroy everything. Because that's really what it is, guys. That's really what it is. It's so bad. Look at this. Well, Laura Trump now says the Trump administration is going to release more on the Epstein files. I thought Trump said he was done with this and it was a waste of time. I thought nothing was there. And it's the back and forth between Trump saying don't worry about it, Charlie Kirk saying shut up about it, everybody else saying don't worry about it. And then they say, oh, we talked about this last week when that post-millennial dropped the story where the DOJ is still reviewing Epstein cases. Here's the thing. I was on this program, and I don't mind mea culpa saying that she's got to go. She's got to lay down on the sword, but she is not going to do it. She's not going to do it. This is a problem, by the way. I don't have my misogyny alert, but I need to bring it over from StreamYard. So what happens when you put women in positions of power? You put women in positions of power, and this is the stuff that happens. These are the things that happen. I know it's not a fun thing to say. I know some of you all think that's right, but she is not going to let that go. She is not going to let that position go. She's going to have to be fired by it. And let me say this. I think Trump is too much of a coward to do it. I think Trump is too much of a coward to fire Pam Bondi. If he was the real alpha male that we all think he is, he would have fired her over the weekend. He would have been like, you botched it. You're done. Maybe because he doesn't think he can find somebody he trusts to be the attorney general. We know for a fact Trump is about loyalty. If you're one of his people, you're going to be fine. That is going to drive his entire administration off a cliff.